Hello everyone, Stormgate has launched and I'm here to show you how to expand as Vanguard and kind of the normal transition into Bio, Exos, Lancers, Third Base, that kind of thing. So with Vanguard, you want to get 4 workers as they're returning to mining and pull them to your natural and build another command post. And you do this when you have about 300 to 350 Luminite. So obviously the distance between your main and natural will change depending on the map, but you can always go at 350 Luminite banked and it will end up quite nice. So you'll see in a second we're about to hit 350. These next 4 workers, I'll pull them, return cargo a bit, then we use overcharge on the command post and get these workers to the natural nice and quickly. They get a movement speed buff and they also get a 50% construction speed buff. So Vanguard's the only one that can do this. Obviously they can increase the speed at which they get their natural, and this gives Vanguard a natural edge in the start of the game. So once we hit 150, I'm going to pull one of these workers and build a barracks. You can do that with one of these workers. So you can pull one of the ones that's building the command post and build your barracks. It depends where you want your first barracks to be. In this game I chose here, but in other times and other games you'll see that I build it in the natural. There is kind of a cool way to build Vanguard buildings to help in certain situations, but this will do for now. We have a Lancer immediately being produced from this barracks, and the next thing you want is just another barracks. So obviously we don't want to cut workers, we want to produce our workers non-stop. As soon as you have a charge for them, you want to produce them. But in between doing that, you want to build 3 barracks and a biolab, and then a supply habitat so that you don't get supply blocked. And this first lance is very important. I sent him to my natural because what's often the case against Infernals, maybe even other Vanguards, maybe Celestial, is that they'll send a unit to scout you and see what you're up to. But I didn't see that, so I sent him across the map. So as I say, making workers non-stop, building another barracks, so we're up to 3, and also a biolab. And just before I started building all of these structures, we used the overcharge on the natural so that all of the workers that are building these constructions will benefit from the overcharge construction speed. Now, about when the biolab was half constructed, I pulled 5 workers or 6 workers onto my Therium, and they will start collecting Therium so that we can slowly transition from making Lancers non-stop to making Exos non-stop. And during all of this, I went in to my opponent's base to see what's up with the Lancers, to scout him and apply a bit of pressure if he didn't have enough. This one got injured a bit, so we went back to the healing camp, but you'll see I will keep doing this. We just keep going in, poking at the opponent, seeing what he's doing, what he's making, so that we can react accordingly. We don't see too many units, so we're thinking maybe he has a third base, but what's actually happened is he has a third shrine, but it's in his main. But I imagine we already scouted that. So we were up to 3 racks, now we're going up to 4, and even a 5th one. So we're up to 5 racks on 2 bases. We fully saturated our natural. We're now sending all of the workers to the Illuminate here. And this basically allows us to produce obviously 5 units at a time. It's going to be mostly Exos. We have our early Lancers from before we had the Biolab, so we couldn't make anything other than Lancers and Dogs. We don't really want to use Dogs as combat units here. You can see I'm jumping on the Gaunts, and having all of these early units allows us to contest the first Stormgate, which was at 3 minutes 30. Obviously this isn't going to be every game that we have this scuffle. And you see Emissary, I'm kind of taking a good trade because some of my Exos got stuck hitting the Stormgate there, but then he runs into all of the Exos that I had there and loses them. So we're actually up a decent amount of supply here. We have 2 probably fully saturated bases by now. Okay, not quite. Oh, not quite because we're already taking our 3rd base. As I say, once you get up to 5 racks on 2 bases, you want to be able to squeeze out a 3rd base. Ideally use overcharge on these guys as well. I pulled slightly early so I didn't have the energy on my command post, but in any case we want to get a 3rd base up after we get 5 racks bioproduction, because 5 racks bioproduction gives us a kind of foundation that we can work with. And that's your basic setup. I will probably cast this game later because it's such a good one, but the important thing is just the setup here. It's 5 racks bio, Lancers, exos, and then when we feel comfortable, if the opponent's not pressuring us too hard, we'll try and get up a third base. And you can see MSRM, he's actually dropping me right now. We're using overcharge to get the new big armor buff. They actually get 50 armor now with the overcharge. So we can use that to defend drops quite well. I learned this game that this is actually possible. We're even using some repair micro here. We only lost 2 workers during all of that. So pretty nice new mechanic for Vanguard. But that's besides the point. The point is that we're able to get this third base up, even getting pressured. It's not going to be the end of the world. So 5 racks is basically our way to make sure that we don't get killed, at least too easily, by an Infernal going 2 base all-ins. You can experiment with 4 racks, 3 racks into a faster third, but 5 racks is definitely very safe. So there's your basic setup against Infernal, and I'll show you now a game against MSRM where I'm playing against his Celestials, and we'll see what that's like, but it's more or less the same build. Okay, so we're here against MSRM's Celestials this time, and we'll be doing more or less the same build with one small variation, which is that we'll build a sentry post by the natural very quickly, in case the Celestial has decided to go 1 base Argents, which they can still do. It's not like last patch, where it's super oppressive and prevents Vanguard from ever getting a natural up without taking game-ending losses. So the balance has changed in a really good way there, and Vanguard is able to get up a natural and defend silly stuff like that. It's mostly, you know, the construction time of the chamber has been reduced, or rather increased, and the surge, you only get 1 of them. It's stronger than before, but you're not going to chain 2 surges and a third one to just spam out Argent super quickly. So we're a lot safer. Once again, we pull when we have about 350 Luminite. It's a little closer than Boneyard, so we get up the command post and we get another worker. And then this time I'm going to pull from here. Once we have 150, we build the barracks. There it is. And this will stop the flow of units into my main. So there's a small gap, which allows for my own units to get out. But if he wants to cram into my main, I'll be able to block him off and slow him down that way. So just a small note there on where you put your barracks, but you don't have to worry about that. Just make sure you follow the build more or less correctly. And this time we don't really want to make Lancers, so we go immediately into the Biolab. And the Lancer, you know, does just get killed by Argents. Argents do bonus to heavy, they're a range unit, so it's not like worrying about the Infernals making brutes. We're worried about a range unit this time, so instead of the Lancer, we're getting a sentry post, we're getting the Biolab faster, and I actually kind of forget to put on Therium. This should have happened about 5 seconds ago, so I put 4 workers there. A little bit less than last time. Last time I put 6 workers on because I was expecting to produce out of maybe 3 barracks going up to 5 a lot sooner. But here we are getting up our barracks faster, but skipping Lancers altogether. Once again, we overcharge so that we can get the benefit of the construction speed on some of our structures, and we will need a supply house after we start pumping out units here. So immediately I'm just going into Lancers, sorry, not Lancers, exos, and we'll be pumping out 3 racks. So just like in the last game, we start with 3 racks, pump out some units to make sure we don't die. And here comes MSRM. Have to be careful about not letting those Argents run in. And you see the way I built my chambers here prevents him from doing what he wants to, which is this. So he runs in all the way around to start pecking at my workers. Flag cannons unfortunately did get nerfed. They now have only 10 range against ground targets, whereas they used to have 12 like they still do against air. So this is a little bit more annoying, but you can see he's just shooting my barracks, so I'm not too concerned about that. We know that if we get up our natural, go into exos, we'll be happier than him staying on Argents. That's just the way of balance right now, so we're super happy with this. I do repair the barracks because I wanted to survive whilst I sell it. Remember, Vanguard can sell their structures, so if you think, okay, these structures are going to struggle, I'll just sell it and make sure you can't get it for free. But we are kind of locked into our natural right now. That is just the way of things. So we're building a 4th racks here, another racks there. I should have built that one in my main to make use of overcharge. I end up overcharging here just for a single barracks. Obviously I could be getting 2 But it does increase the speed of Therium mining since they do still move 30% faster under overcharge, and it does give you a slight benefit, not by much, but it gives you a slight benefit to Luminite mining as well, as long as you're not fully saturated. So similar to against Infernals, but this time we're going exos and then into some dogs. You can see I'm floating a lot here because of the pressure from the early Argents has kind of left me in shambles. There was a Stormgate, we just give that up because we can see he's got a bunch of Argents, we don't really have any units yet. But as we get up to more unit count and start getting a proper ball of exos with some dogs to tank, that's when we'll start to move out across the map. But we know he's on Argent tech, so we're quite happy here. You see all of the power shots there from the Argents all went on the dog, so that even though we lost a dog, that's a good thing because it means he won't kill an exo with all of those. He has a Faerun as well, which is quite scary. It has been nerfed, but it's still a very good healer. It's healing 30 health per second on these Argents, so it's not bad at all. And you can see he's poking in. Ideally we kill an Argent every time he does that, because if he survives even slightly, he's going to heal it up again with the Faerun. That's why he has it back there. I think we're going to, we were going to go on the Faerun, but he moved it. So just playing the silly game of Argent Exo, trying not to die right now, getting up our second Therium. You can see the supplies are close, but just keep in mind that Argents are bad supply. They're not as good as Exo supplies. So even though the supplies are close, I'm quite happy here because we have a much better unit for the supply, right? Getting up some medtechs now as well. We will be getting the medtech upgrades, and this is just as a counter to what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of Argents, so I'm thinking, okay, Nano Swarm aggressively is going to be super useful, so that's what we do instead. But if we saw maybe Kree, we might think about Vulcans, we might think about getting a hangar bay and a dropship to drop some bio all over the Celestials. But in this game in particular, after my expand, Emistrom showed me what he had. He had a bunch of Argents, and he kept on applying that pressure to me. So I kind of already know what's going on his side of the map, and I know what to do from here. So that's just Exo, Dog, and some Medtechs. I have a Lancer there. That's probably a misclick. I really don't want that. So we're happy just to be sat on 2 bases for now, still producing units and workers. And when we get a chance, we'll go and take a 3rd base, but we need to shore him up. So he can kind of tell now that I'm moving out and feeling confident against him. So he's trying to retreat, just shooting my dogs and running back kind of thing. And behind this, I'll take a 3rd base. We have a hangar bay, so that's able to give us the dropship. It's able to give us tier 3 and upgrade our exos for the tier 3 upgrade. You can see here, he's very afraid of us. He's still on Argents for the most part. He's got some Kree in there, but we're not too afraid of that because we have a big ball of Argents. See some nanoswarms going down. They're going to just melt all the units around them, including the unit, if it's an Argent. So, killing all of his mechanical units. Both Kree and Argents are mechanical. And we just kind of came in there, killed a bunch of workers, and got out. So this is an ideal situation for us. Behind this, we're going to take that 3rd base I was talking about. And you see he's trying to pull off the unit that has nanoswarm on it. And so he has a 3rd base too, but he doesn't have this Therium mining like we do, and we have our own 3rd base coming up very quickly. That's the nice thing about Vanguard, is even if you're behind in bases, you can rectify that very quickly. He is taking the double Therium here. And he's rolling around with Kree aggressively. Let's see what he ends up doing with that. Stormgate is on my side, so we obviously go for that. His Kree start rolling in. He found a nice angle avoiding my units. Overcharge goes down, 50 armor and auto repair. He says, no thanks, I'm getting out of here. We've left some units to get the Stormgate, and the rest are going to come in on the Kree here. Does snipe that medtech, which is a bit unfortunate. And we're happy that we got the Stormgate. And what do we get? We get the Cosmic Drifter. So we could have got that off of, you know, a dropship and evac from the hangar bay. The Stormgate has provided us with a Giga dropship. It's a very, very nice one. You can fit lots of bio in there. This bad boy can fit so much bio in there. So we immediately get that. MSRM doesn't know what we got on the Stormgate. And then I go into triple mech bay so that we can start producing Vulcans. And keeping the rest of my army at home, we just run in there, immediately rampage all these prisms. You can see just how fragile they are. So harassing Celestials, but if it was Infernals, we could make the exact same play, just dropping bio into his resources. This array now has 600 health, so super easy to kill as well. And you can see Celestials in Shambles has to run all the way around here between his main and his third base. I smell some weakness here. The prisms are just chilling, so we're going to shoot them some more. Kree come rolling in. We say smell you later. Do have to be careful about the Argents because they can dash in and snipe the dropship, and we don't want that. The Cosmic Drifter. And behind this, obviously, we're making some Vulcans. And I should be making some more medtechs because we have lots of theory, and that's a good way to spend it. So Emmerstrom says, okay, you just killed all my economy and have a dropship full of units. I'm going to go and attack you. Nanoswarms come in. And the Vulcans are here, and they basically shut this whole thing down. He knows he needs to run here because Vulcans are so incredibly good at mowing down Kree, and when you have like 3 of them, they're even very good against Argents. Behind that, we just drop him. So you can see, like, Vanguard is able to lock down their bases quite well. He was applying all that pressure in the early game. We just survived on Sentry Post Exo. And then we get these Vulcans, which lock down the base even better because you can pull your workers and repair the Vulcans. Overcharge. And in the meantime, we can drop the hell out of our opponent. As I say, if it wasn't the Cosmic Drifter, we would have used an evac to make the same plays. And unfortunately, the Cosmic Drifter has no escape, so it kind of just gets stuck a lot. Like, there's no dead space for him to escape. So perhaps I should have run down here with that. Just kept on going. Maybe even drop this base, or even just try to fly through. So probably a mistake on my part with the way that Cosmic Drifter died. But yeah, behind this a bunch of Vulcans, and the question is, what can Celestials do against a heavy Vulcan count? Well, they can get Cabals to debilitate them and to lift them up into the air, but they won't really have enough energy. The way Celestials are now, they have a lot less energy to play with than they did before. There's just a lot less power banks, and you need to spend so much time and energy turning them into Energizer nodes instead of the Grace Light nodes. So Cabals are much harder to use now. That's a part of the balance change. So a heavy Vulcan count with medtechs as well seems pretty strong. You can see he pokes forward there and immediately loses a couple of Argents. What's this? Oh, that's right. This is a Stormcaller. Yeah. So yeah, this is the general idea. Just open up with 5 racks bio, and that should keep you safe against pretty much anything your opponent can do. And then you start making plays, right? Then you start doing the dropships, then you start doing strange counterattacks that they're not expecting. Then you can start doing stuff. But the baseline here is 5 racks bio, and then you go from there. This time I went Vulcans against Emissarum's Infernal. We didn't go Vulcans. It's all up to you, but yeah, the idea behind this video is just to give you an idea of how to set up as Vanguard comfortably, and I think 5 racks on 2 base is a really nice way to do that. So there it is, ending this game with a Stormcaller drop, and I'll see you guys next time. Like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.